He is so uptight about this kind of thing that he will not even send me any flirty texts. I try. A couple weeks ago, I texted him, "Hey there, looking pretty sexy today." He replied, "Received." With a period. I said, "What are you worried about? We're married." He said, "You're not thinking. What about this? What if we got into legal trouble and our phones got subpoenaed and our texts to one another were read aloud in open court?" I said, "Okay, if that scenario played out, we would have a lot bigger issues than a couple of eggplant emoji."
Now, I don't know if my husband is hard of hearing, but to him, if the TV is not at volume 85 or above, it might as well be on mute. God forbid I bring the volume down to 65. He will passive-aggressively put on the captions. It's his silent way of yelling at me.
These children grew up and left me with their daddy. And he is so not fun. And so he doesn't chat. And so I'm just at home talking to myself. And we've got 2 beagles. And we miss these children so bad that we just sit and kiss them in the mouth.
I love the man. He's good in the woods on a mountain bike. But I don't know that he has the skills to protect me from a bear. All right? He doesn't have very good tracking skills. And I know this. For instance, if he has a shirt that I don't like, I can move it 5 inches to the left, and he'll never find it again. He'll act like someone cased the house and broke in to just steal that shirt from him. And the whole time he's complaining, I see the shirt out of my corner of my eye, but I'm not saying anything about it. I know where it is, right? But he won't look for things for more than 1 second. Which is good. He'll talk it out, though. If something's missing, he'll talk it out, which is cool, you know, because that means ultimately he's just better at looking for things with his mouth than his eyes. And honestly, that's how we ended up getting married. So thank you.
I have a wife. And she has one too. Yeah, I just found out she's gay, and I think it's cool. Should have known the signs were there. She was always talking about getting a Subaru. I was going down on her. And we met here in Los Angeles. This is the place that we fell in love. Thank you. We met at a bowling alley. We met at Chateau Lanes. You guys know that? Yeah, we met at Chateau Lanes. We met at an event called Les Bowl. I'm very embarrassed to tell you that. Okay, I tried to hide that for a long time. And my friends are like, "No, you should not be embarrassed about that. That is a modern day lesbian love story." Yeah, and to be fair, every lesbian love story is a modern day lesbian love story. Yeah, but I'm very embarrassed about us meeting at Les Bowl because I have to explain that to my grandkids one day. Like, I have to be like, "Where did I meet Grand Dyke?" I don't know what we're gonna call each other. We're workshopping some names, but Grand Dyke sounds awesome. Where did I meet Grand Dyke? Well, we met at Les Bowl. She put 3 fingers in that bowling ball and I knew she was game. They were the right fingers. She wasn't even wearing a wrist guard, which is basically raw dogging in my community.
And you know, we've had this discussion a few times where he has said to me, "We should try sexting because, you know, we got married before sexting." Really? And I've always said, no. I mean, oh my God. I mean, I've sexted with coworkers, but, you know, never him. And,
you know, I don't know if you've ever had your wife in a mental health facility. because my friends were very sweet, you know. They were like, Jess, that's so supportive. This can't be easy for you. That's so nice you found her this place in Malibu. And I was like, yeah. And all of that was true. But there was also another unspoken part, at least that I felt, that was like, what did you do to her? You know, like, we're like, oh, where's your wife? Oh, she's in a mental health facility. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, she was normal before. You know what I mean? Like, how annoying was I to work with? How crazy did I drive this woman that she had to leave society and brush a horse's tail on ketamine?
I think in everybody's relationship there was tension during the pandemic. Like if you fought with your partner during the pandemic, like it's not about how much you love them. That's too many hours with one person. Because we all have flaws. None of us are perfect. We shouldn't look for perfection in our partners. I think we should understand that everybody has flaws. It's not about your partner being perfect, but it's about how you handle those imperfections you have in each other, along with each other. And I think that was the biggest issue. Nobody was prepared to be around their partner 24/7, uninterrupted. Look, my husband's biggest thing is he's a talker, which is never said as a compliment. That is a warning every time. Like, hey, he's a talker. Go with God. And people underestimate it all the time because they don't understand he's the type of talker that doesn't need anyone else for the conversation. Do you know these people? You know how many times I've been at home like, did I leave a podcast on? Like, who's bringing up random topics? And then during the pandemic, he started doing this new thing that he'd never done before where he just announced things he was doing around the house. I'd be in the living room and I'd hear, babe, I made space for the ketchup in the refrigerator. And I'd be like, good job, man. Because my therapist said be more encouraging, you know what I mean? So I was like, who's killing it in the kitchen? I didn't grow up with positive reinforcement, so I don't know how to be encouraging without sounding like I'm talking to a pet, like, who's a good husband? Who's a good husband? Off the couch, who's a good husband? Of course we fought, of course we bumped heads, of course we got on each other's nerves. Like, I'm definitely the kind of person, like, he has to put up with my flaws too. And I'm definitely the kind of person that, I think the hardest thing he has to put up with is the fact that my mood depends on your tone. You don't have to tell me. I know it's toxic. I'm aware. I'm working on it. It's not fun, you know what I mean? To be the kind of person that's always like, what'd you say? And at this point, we've established that when a woman says, what'd you say? She's not asking you to repeat what you said. She is asking you to rethink what you said. It's not fun to have somebody walking on eggshells like that, you know what I mean? Like, what'd you say? Good morning? Please say I did it right. We were bound to bump heads, man, but we're also both in therapy. And I don't know if you've ever fought with a healthy person. But it's annoying. Because we'd get into these big blow-up fights, right? Where we would just yell at each other, and then I'd storm out, right? And I'd have time to process. And I'd come back in and I'd be like, ugh. I realize my reaction to the previous situation is based on trauma from a former relationship that I shouldn't bring into this current space. Don't get too excited, baby girl. And then my husband would come in and he'd be like, ugh. I want you to know that I hear you and I see you. I was like, I hate us. I don't want to be us, I want to jump us. I don't like us. I come from a family where you flip a table to make a point, you know what I'm saying? Like, this feels too healthy, you know what I'm saying? And I got a temper on me. I'm not proud of it, but it's something I know about myself. Right? Like, I got one of those tempers where I'll get real mad, real bad, real fast. Yeah. And then 5 seconds later, I'm like, we're cool. They'll be like, Gina, you burned down the house. Okay, but I'm a new woman now. Yes, I burned down the house, but I also called the fire department. And in therapy, they call that growth. So, how about you respect my journey? It ain't easy. I remember our biggest fight was also, coincidentally, our dumbest fight. Yeah. It was over socks. Yeah, we had the sock fight. Mm-hmm. He kept leaving his socks everywhere. And in my head, I was like, I know that you know that we have a laundry basket. What is with all this passive-aggressive sock behavior? I'm in therapy, so I could therapize. And therapy did help me figure out how I could have stopped this fight from happening in the first place. Because I did something so typical in relationships, such a typical thing, because what I did was I didn't speak up right away. I let it build, I let it fester. Such a common thing. And I'll tell you why that happens. I can only speak to my relationships with men, but I'll tell you why that happens, guys. The reason why we don't speak up right away is because we have such faith. You already know. We have such faith in your ability to tell when we are upset. We truly believe you're gonna get all of our little subtle hints. Because that's what we do. That's what we do. Every woman in here can tell you when her partner is upset. Every woman in here. We always know. We always know, man. I know. I can tell by the way he breathes. So we always think he's gonna know. He's gonna know. Nope. Nope. And here's the thing. There's a reason why this happens. There's a reason why this happens, and it's not based on intelligence. It's about how we think and navigate through the world. The fact is, as a woman, I have to think 10 steps ahead for my own safety. I can't just walk out the door. I have to figure out where am I going, what time is it, how am I getting back, who am I going with, is it even safe for me to go there in the first place? These are the things we have to think about when we're navigating the world. Men don't have to think that far ahead. You don't have to think in the future. You can think in the now, what's happening now, what's in front of me now. If at any point I'm mad at my husband, yeah. If at any point I am angry at my husband and I were to go into his brain, I feel like it would just be like doo dee dee da da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da. This is a great day, man. Da 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 da. She looks weird. Da da ba da ba da ba ba. I wonder who made her mad, man. I wasn't even here. Yeah da 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 yeah da da da. No clue. He had no idea we were even in a fight. Have you ever had somebody sleep comfortably next to you? When you are fuming mad at them? Whew. That's a tough one. Because he was like, And I was just up like, I've made you too comfortable. I let it fester, I let it build, and then one day I woke up and I was like, today's the day. You know when you feel the rage rising in your body before your feet touch the floor? I was like, somebody gonna get this rage. And I remember I woke up, I was putting my son in his playpen. It was like 6 a.m. And I saw the Nike check from the corner of my eye. And if you've ever dealt with any kind of anger issues, then you know that at this point, I had to give myself a little pep talk. I was like, don't do nothing crazy. Don't do nothing crazy. I had to become my own therapist, man. I was like, come on, you're journaling. You're meditating. You watch that one Brene Brown video. You can do this. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna take that sock and I'm gonna cut it up into tiny little pieces. And I'm gonna do that for every sock I find until he has no socks. And then one day he will wake up and he will go, where are my socks? And I will press a button and all of the sock confetti will fall from the ceiling. And I will go, ta-da! And then I will stab him because I will have snapped. All you hear in the background is my son going, wipe your fingerprints off the knife, Mommy!
Do you guys know that app? Find My Friends? Okay, for those of you that don't know, I'm about to change your life. And for those of you that do know, but your partner doesn't, about to change yours too. Find My Friends is an app that allows you to share your location with someone so they always know where you're at. So I shared my husband's location with me. So I always know. Sometimes he'll come home, I'll be like, what'd you get at the grocery store? How'd you know I was at the grocery store? You told me. You don't remember? Losing your mind. Let me give you guys a little warning though, okay? Before you go downloading the app, having all kinds of fun. Sometimes Find My Friends is not 100% accurate. It may lead you to conclusions. I'll tell you a little story. There was this one night. It was raining. Not really, but for theatrical effect. My husband went to the movies with some friends. He was gonna be home around 11 o'clock. Well, I fell asleep. I wake up in the middle of the night. It's 2 a.m. I look over and my husband is not next to me. My first thought, oh my God, he died. It wasn't like, ooh, he's out there cheating, because that would mean, oh my God, he died. It's 2 a.m. I wake up. My husband's not next to me. I start to freak out. The what ifs, they start to roll. I pick up my phone and I call him. He doesn't answer. I text him. He doesn't reply. I check his Instagram. He didn't post anything. And then I get stuck scrolling for about 35 minutes. Went down a few rabbit holes that night. Learned a couple of good recipes. Recipes I'm never gonna try. But they make it look so easy. That's how you make Dutch apple pie cake Pop-Tart leftover bites? 12 cheese macaroni. Well, I didn't even know there was 12 cheeses. Let's see, you got cheddar, Gouda, string, whiz, queso fresco. I'm gonna have to Google the rest. And then I remember, oh my God, he died. And that is when I check my Friend Finder app. And it shows his location stopped in the middle of the freeway by our house. I thought he was in an accident. I said, oh no, I gotta go to that location. I gotta go there right now, but I gotta brush my teeth first. This is why I had to brush my teeth first, you guys. Because if I get to that location and there are first responders there, if they have to give me bad news, my response would be something like, breath. They don't deserve that. So I start brushing my teeth, and I'm thinking all the thoughts. I knew it. It was too good to be true. I should have prayed for him that one time. I finish brushing my teeth, and I start walking downstairs, practicing my solemn thank you. Do you guys know the solemn thank you? It's very similar to the solemn I'm sorry you say at a funeral. When you're at a funeral and you want to give your condolences to someone, you say, I'm sorry, in a whisper tone like that. And that communicates to them, I'm sorry for your loss. Because if you say it at regular volume, I'm sorry. Well, that communicates I had something to do with this. So I'm walking downstairs, practicing my solemn thank you. I get downstairs, I get to the kitchen, I grab a glass of water. He used to love water. I start walking to the living room, his favorite spot, the couch, where he would watch movies and pretend like he didn't fall asleep. I get to the couch, and I'm standing there ready to mourn my husband. You could see there's a couple of pillows thrown about. There's a blanket falling off to the side. I go and I turn the light on so I could get a better look. And there he is, asleep on a couch. Find my friends lied to me. It told me my husband was dead. I already downloaded a dating app on my phone.
Speaking of bodies, anyone else spend the pandemic trying to grow their own pair of boy shorts? Anybody else, or was that just me? No one else wanted to push their body hair to the limit? See what their pubes were capable of? Nobody? It was a fun game I played with myself. I knew it was possible because I know I have very strong body hair game. I know that because I used to play a fun game with my mom when I was a kid. It was hours of fun. It was called Help Me Find the Whisker. Anybody else play this game? So fun, right? It's normally your mom or a female relative, right? And they've got their hand on their chin, right? Maybe it's on the back of their arm, right? But you've got the tweezers, okay? Takes two. It's very important, right? You're both looking for like an 8-inch long jet black hair. Looks like it came off a Rottweiler. Real thick and spiky. wasn't there 15 minutes ago. Right? Fun game. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's the kind of hair you go through like an entire day of work, and then you get in your car and you look in the rear view mirror and the sunlight hits you and you're like, oh, cool. Screw all my friends. Screw them all. Nobody, no customer, no friend, no coworker saw like a phone charging cord hanging out of the bottom of my chin, just dangling there. Nobody could have pulled me to the side, done a courtesy pluck or anything. Help a bitch out. Nobody all day, right? And I should have been prepared. I should have been prepared that it was coming, because I used to make fun of my mom, and I'd be like, ugh, you're disgusting. And she's like, you just wait. And she's right, because I was getting ready for a show the other night, and I was plucking my nipple whiskers, and it's like that were bitch knew what was coming. She knew. Now, first of all, I need to address the energy in the room. I don't appreciate like all the laughs I got for the chin hair bit, and then I started telling the truth. And then all the women are like, I don't know what she's talking about. If you're worried that your men are gonna find out, guess what? Your men know. They know about your nipple hair, because when they're down there and they see one, they pluck it out with their teeth, they keep moving. They are horny and nothing can stop them, okay? Also, I don't appreciate the judgment, okay? I don't. Because there's no way statistically I'm the only woman in this room with areolas. There's no way that's possible. Maybe look down a little bit more, ladies, all right? And if you don't have those yet, I bet you at least are rocking a sass crotch, because that's a fun thing we all had to find out about. No one gave us a heads up that this area doesn't stop growing. Nobody told us that, right? School books, like if you were in health class, they would just show you a body with like a triangle down here covered up. And you're like, oh, cool, it just stays in that shape. It's called a bikini line because it stays in your bikini. No, it doesn't. Not at all. Not even a little bit, all right? It's like it's got a mind of its own, just makes its way down your legs. Head to the back of your thighs. Connects to your knee hair, that's fun. All right, just like a bunch of pioneer hairs making their way out west. Just, I'm gonna go invent Mormonism. I'm gonna head out over to the plains like a pioneer. I used to wonder why my grandmother would wear ruffles around her bathing suit. And now I know. Now I know, and I want one. I want one. Oh man, despite all of that, y'all, somehow I got married. I don't know how. Thank you. Thank you. How did it? I caught him in my net. Thick, coarse net. Just caught him in there, right? I did, though. I got married, y'all. We just celebrated our 4-year wedding anniversary. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all, I love being married. Gonna be honest, love being married. Love being able to tell people I married my best friend. That's the best. Aw, thank you. That's so sweet. I love being able to I say it all the time. I married my best friend. I don't mean it, but I say it because it sounds good, right? Like I saw a couple who shares a Facebook account say that about each other, and I was like, that's healthy. Here's the deal. He's great. I love the man. He's amazing. He's not my best friend, okay? He's a soulmate. I would call him that. He's my soulmate. Thank you. He's a soulmate, or the first one who ever asked. It's one of those. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's tough. It's tough. I just wouldn't say he's my best friend. Like, he's a friend. He's a friend at best. Like, that's what he is. Like, he's there a lot. Legally, right? Like, I knew I wanted a house with vaulted ceilings, and I forgot to ask him how often he'd be in that house. That's my bad. That's my bad. Okay. Here's the thing, though. He's great, but I have a real best friend. All right. She's been around way longer. All right. She knows all my secrets. She's way cooler than he is. And most importantly, y'all, she's never tried to stick it in my ass. And I think that's where I draw the line for best friends. That's not what best friends do to each other, folks, okay? Unless that's your agreement, and then cool, all right? Best friends don't do that. Best friends don't go out to a restaurant, see you drink 2 margaritas, and then make a plan, right? That's not what best friends do to each other, right? Get home, getting frisky, he's back there, he goes for it, and I go, huh? Nuh-uh. No, thank you. And he's like, oops, wrong hole. Oops. You knew exactly what you were doing back there, bud. First of all, you can see the holes, I can't. What do you mean, oops, wrong hole? And then he's all disappointed. He's got a notepad on the nightstand. He's like, it's 3 margaritas. It's 3, not 2. It's 3. Every time. I remember when things were getting serious between my husband and I was like, oh my God, this is it, right? Like, if he asks me, I'm gonna say yes, you know? Number 1, because I love him, but number 2, because I was like, oh no, I'm 30 and I don't own anything of value, and I forgot to start a savings account. Oh man. And I remember like fantasizing about like what that dream proposal would be like one day, you know? And I remember fantasizing about like what that dream ring would look like when I got it. And y'all, I am still fantasizing. There's a diamond there. That's what he said it was. So we'll go with that. Also, I gotta put some blame on myself. I did mention too many times that I was a feminist when we were dating, okay? Save that till later, all right? You can tell him, just wait till you get engaged, okay? Don't say that beforehand, right? And here's what you want to make sure you say things like, diamonds are a girl's best friend. Like whatever was on billboards in the 90s, just say that, okay? Be careful, all right? Don't say that, I don't even care if I get a ring. That's the stupidest thing you could ever say. You do care. You might think you don't care. You might think you're just saying something to keep him around, all right? You're gonna regret that later, all right? Because as soon as you get engaged, every girl you meet, all of your girlfriends, they're gonna grab your hand and they're gonna look at it. And you're gonna be like, and they look at you and they go, did you say diamonds weren't important? And you're like, yeah, I did. I did. But it's cool though. He said he doesn't even care. He doesn't even, and here, honestly, he doesn't. I could put this ring in a lineup with one other ring and he wouldn't know which one was mine. So it's fine. He gave me permission. He said that I could upgrade. So y'all, year 5, I am getting a new husband. So I am real excited about that. Here's the thing though, he spends his money, all right, on himself, and that's okay, all right? Once again, questions you should ask beforehand, okay? He spends his money, he's really into mountain bikes, that's where all his money goes. I don't know if anyone's familiar, I know we're in like mountain bike country up here, all right? So you might be familiar. Not everyone's familiar with mountain bikes. Like when we were dating, my girlfriends were like, ooh, mountain bikes. That sounds like motorcycles. That sounds sexy. And I was like, it's not like motor. motorcycles at all. That would be sexy. What he's into are just bicycles that have a big dumb shock on them, okay? Each one costs as much as a used car, and he's the motor on them. Not as sexy, all right? Thank you, one person. And here's the thing. I was a good girlfriend at the time. I'm a good wife now. He wanted to get me into bicycles, and I was like, hell yeah, I love bicycles. I used to ride a Huffy around my trailer park. Jumped over those speed bumps, man, I can do this. So we rode together for a long time, and we had 2 bikes, 2 people. I was like, that's enough bikes for all the people in the house. But I was wrong. Apparently he needs a whole bunch of these bicycles, right? He tries to justify his fleet to me all the time. He's like, no, babe, hear me out. Listen, I'm gonna need all of them. This one over here, this is better for uphill, all right? This is heavier, it's better for downhill. This is an e-bike. This one over here is a hardtail, it's good for jumps. This one over here, it's got different suspension, it's good for roots and run. I'm like, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're one man with one ass, right? Like, I don't know. The woods has all those things you just described, right? Like, what is he doing on the weekends? Is he packing up all his bikes in the truck, heading up to the mountains, setting himself up like a redneck relay race? Every mile he's like, oh no, got some more roots coming up, gotta switch bikes, hold my beer. Like, I don't know. I don't know what this man does. All I know is that every time I walk out into the garage, I just see 6 better engagement rings with tires on them. That's what I see. I guarantee you none of those bikes let him get away with that special thing I reluctantly let him do. Twice a year after 3 margaritas. So I don't know. There's no way. There's no way. Here's a little PSA, by the way. If there are any women in here who are waiting to get a ring from a fella, hear me out, all right? Maybe do a little butt stuff, just a little bit. Listen, only before you get the ring, hear me out, okay? Hear me out. The women are like, shut up, stop now. The men are like, hell yeah, finally. Listen, here's the thing. It wasn't until after I got engaged that I remembered an important lesson we all learned in science class, right? And that is how diamonds are made. Okay? If you don't remember, I'll break it down. It's the stronger the pressure, the bigger the diamond. I'm just saying, bear down. Do it a few times. It only hurts at first. Listen. But a tiny diamond, that hurts forever, okay? So you've gotta... weigh that out. Weigh that out.
You know, some people are tricky to buy for birthdays and things. If you have somebody in your life like this, then listen up, this next thing might be useful for you. We've got a birthday rule. Our birthday rule is that if it's your birthday, you get to make all of the decisions all day for both of you. So my fella's last birthday, his first decision, he said, I want a lie-in. Excellent, happy with that. We had a lie-in. Second decision, he said, I want a sausage sandwich, which was not the euphemism I was hoping it was. I was all like, should I be the bread? Oh, you're putting the grill on. Okay. Third decision, he wanted to go to Warwick Castle. Now, I'm sure some of you may well have been to Warwick Castle. I'm sure the castle part of it is an absolute delight. We didn't get to do that bit. The only bit he wanted to do was the dungeon. He likes reading horror stories. He likes watching horror films. I don't like any of that sort of thing. I don't like being scared. I'm not a massive fan of the dark, if I'm brutally honest. I'm a bit of a wuss. And I thought this whole experience is going to be horrible for me. But birthday rules, we have to go. So we go to Warwick Castle, and at the door to the dungeon is a man. And the man has fake blood on his face and hands and is dressed in some sort of costume. And being a little claustrophobic as I am, I thought this is about to include two of the things I hate the most. Enclosed spaces and fucking actors. Because it wasn't like a museum, it wasn't just glass cases with things in to look at and little bits of writing that you don't bother reading because it's boring. It wasn't like that. It was properly interactive. Every room had a different scenario. There were volunteers required throughout, and there was always a chance that somebody was going to jump out and frighten the living shit out of you. Now, I knew I was going to hate it, and it was proved right as soon as we started to walk in. Now, one thing to point out as well, I guess these tours normally have 10 or 12 or 15 people on them all going around as one. I don't know why, maybe just because it was a Tuesday, but it was only two of us. So every time they needed a volunteer, it was me or him or both of us. And also, it was the final tour of the day. We'd overheard a couple of the actors talking outside, saying that if we hadn't turned up, they would have all been able to go home an hour early. So they already didn't really like us. Now, we go down the stairs at the beginning, and I already hate it because it's dark, it smells funny, and there's the walls are kind of running with water. It's horrible. Birthday rules, we have to do it, though. Now, we go into the first room. The first room is quite well lit. It's not too bad. It's a courtroom, and there's a man playing a judge, and just me and my fella. We are both tried. I was tried for being a witch. Rude. And he was tried for weighing in a well. Apt. We are both sentenced to death, which I thought was a little harsh. But I thought, if it's all like this is going to be okay. Now, how wrong you can be. You go into the next room. The next room is completely pitch black. So dark you can't see your hand in front of your face. And it's also completely silent. Now, I'd been linked into my fella holding on for dear life. Somebody came up behind us who we couldn't see and just unravelled us and separated us, put him over the other side of the room. So I couldn't see him, I couldn't touch him, but every now and again I could hear him say, "You're going to be all right, you're going to be all right." Because he knew the state I was getting myself into, already starting to shake quite a bit. Now, they left us in the darkness and the silence for about a minute, and then a bright white light flashed, and an old lady screamed in my face. I don't know which bit of history that's supposed to represent, but it felt very much like Christmas with me nana. We go in another couple of rooms. They're quite scary, but not too bad. One of the scariest parts of the whole experience is just a corridor between one room and the next. But it was dimly lit, and there were horrific things everywhere we looked, until we realised halfway along that they were mirrors. At one point, I'd whispered to my fella, "That monster's got my top on." We go in the final room. The final room is a hospital room. There is a bed with a body on it, and the body I've already clocked is a dummy, so it doesn't mean it can't move, but at least it's not going to jump out at me. And a man walks in and addresses us both. And he says, "I'm not the doctor." So I went, "Okay." Then he went, "The doctor died of the plague." Ah. And he went, "I'm the cook." And I thought, "Ooh, snacks." Apparently not. He said, "I'm the cook and I'm replacing the doctor because I'm the only other one who knows about anatomy." So I just went, "Promotion, well done." And he walked forward and he stood just in front of me. And he was so close to me, I could feel his breath on my face. And he looked at me and he said, "You don't look very well." And I crumpled. I've just got a bit of a cold. And then he said, "I think you need some treatment." "I'm taking day nurse, and I've got some tunes in my handbag. Why don't you do it to him? It's his birthday." And then he said, "I think you need an operation." Happy birthday to you, you shit. He took me by the hand, he sat me on a seat, and he pulled around us both a very thin white muslin curtain. We are within the curtain. My fella is on the outside of the curtain. We are now the show. My fella is the only audience member. This whole fucking thing is just for him. The cook pulls out a knife, this sort of size, maybe like a dagger, and he shows it round the front of the curtain so my fella can see it really clearly. He brings it back round again, and he presses a button on the chair behind me, which is the sound effect of a woman screaming. Pulls out another knife, maybe like a machete, this sort of size, and again he shows it round the front of the curtain so my fella can see it. Brings it back round again, presses another button of a woman screaming. Now, by this stage, I am physically shaking from head to toe. My palms are sweaty, and I feel quite sick. But all I can think is, I wonder what we're going to do for my fucking birthday. Because my birthday is after his, my birthday no longer becomes about what I actually might want to do, but about what he will fucking hate. The cook pulls out the final weapon. It's a scythe, huge like this. And again, he shows it round the front so my fella can see. He brings it back round again and presses the most blood-curdling scream of all. And I thought, I know this is fake, but I wonder what the expression on my fella's face is right now. And I could see him very clearly through the curtain. I looked at his face, and he was checking his phone for text messages. As we walked out, I said, I can't believe you were playing on your phone. He said, to be honest, I was just surprised I could get a signal down there. We got in the car to go home. I said, you know what we're going to do for my birthday? He said, no, I don't. What are we going to do for your birthday? I said, you know what we're going to do for my birthday? He said, I don't. What are we going to do for your birthday? I said, we're going to talk about our feelings for 9 fucking hours. As it happens, that's not what we did. My birthday rolled around a month later, and all I really wanted to do was wander around John Lewis. It's me happy place. I wanted to wander around the homeway section touching things. That's all I wanted to do. So we go to John Lewis, we're in the homeway section, but the whole time he is 3 or 4 paces behind me playing on his phone, and I thought, oh, this isn't fair. I was disemboweled on his fucking birthday. And I should have learned from earlier experience that it is not good to take shopping. On a previous occasion, we'd been in a different department store. I decided to look for a new dress. I picked 3 to try on, and I parked them. You know, you can park your fella either at the shoes, because there's seats there and they're like that. Or you can park them at the fitting room, because then there's sometimes another fella there and they can make a little friend. So I parked him at the fitting room. I took 3 dresses in to try on. I came out after each one to show him. After the first one, I said, what do you think of this one? And he went, it's all right. Keep pumping out compliments like that and we'll not get this big head back in the fucking car. When back in came back on the second one, I said, this is the second one. What do you think of this one? And he went, it's nice. I feel so pretty. And back in came back on the third one. I said, this is the best one. This is my favourite one. I've saved the best to last. What do you think of this one? And he went, yeah, you could wear that one outside. What did you think the other 2 were? Fucking 90s? So I should have learned from that experience, but I had not learned from that experience. We're now in John Lewis, in the homeway section, on my birthday, and he is 3 or 4 paces behind me, playing on his phone like a petulant teenager. And I turned around and I said, oh, this isn't on. He said, what's the matter with you? I said, no, this is my birthday. You need to pay attention. You need to be interested in things. You need to be present. And he said, sorry, love, and he put his phone in his pocket. He said, what are we looking at? Show us what we're looking at. And I said, I've been looking at the duvet covers, and I found one that I liked. It was nice and bright and flowery. I said, I like this one. What do you think of that one? And he looked at it and he went, that's horrible. And I thought, well, I did ask for your opinion, I suppose. Maybe you should get your fucking phone out again. I said, I like it. What's horrible about it? And he looked at it again and he went, it's loud, it's gaudy, it's for children. And he must have seen my face just drop, because this is not what my birthday was supposed to be. And he wanted to fix it, because he is a lovely man after all. And he was so convinced that the next thing he said was going to make everything okay. He just went, "It's very you though, love."
I learned a lot when I was pregnant. I learned that my friends are dumb. It's not their fault. I am friends with all stand-ups. And I was 5, maybe 6 months pregnant when I told a friend of mine, I said, "Hey, great news, I'm pregnant." And her first question right out of the gate was, "Are you gonna keep it?" I don't know how you think I made this baby with my wife. Heavily planned. Not a mistake. Like, I didn't get so drunk and wake up one morning and it's like, oh my God, what happened last night? I got so drunk. Did I pay a fertility doctor $12,000? No. So many steps to the process. My daughter will never have like the grit of a child made by mistake. There were so many steps. We had to get a lawyer. One of the things they made us do, our fertility clinic, they made us all go to therapy. We had to. I had to go to therapy. My wife had to go. Our sperm donor had to go. And at the time, it felt like a mild hate crime. But now, in retrospect, I'm like, that's not a bad idea. Like, maybe anyone who wants to procreate should have to go to therapy first. Like, yeah. It's my Shark Tank pitch. Of course, if that were the case, none of us would be here tonight. It's, yeah. Can't imagine my mom and my dad going to therapy. Yeah, it really makes me giggle. My mom is my best friend, that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, actually. Yes. She is my best friend. Her stories are insanely boring. They are getting out of control boring. So detailed. I don't know if your parents are like this. Her stories have to start at the very beginning of the day. Even if she's telling me a statement from her life, she has to start at when she woke up. She'll be like, oh yeah, so I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning. The thunderstorms were really bad rolling in from Chicago, so I couldn't sleep. So I went downstairs and I decided I was gonna make myself some eggs, and I got some scrambled eggs because Dr. Kyle said that I need to get more protein. He actually moved his offices. They're not in Lombard anymore. They're in Oak Brook now, which is nice because it's by the Pottery Barn and by the drive-through Panera Bread. But yeah, and then Callie needed to take a walk because her bladder's not doing well. And so I decided to put on my Brooks gym shoes. I've been wearing those in case there's any precipitation outside. It's really good grip. And then I've been using the Hoka's as my jogging shoes for the runners group. And then I've been using this new brand called On for my formal gym shoes. 45 minutes into this story, we are not even at 11 a.m. in her day. I said, Mom, what is this story about? Oh, Cheryl got lupus. Cheryl got lupus? Okay, I can see how the gym shoes would, okay, yeah, I'm seeing the map now. That makes sense. I love my mom, but she was like, at the beginning of learning that I was gay, she was not good. She did not start off good, okay? Because my brother, he came out to her a year before me. And when my brother came out to my mom, she said, oh no, you're not gay. You're just like Ace Ventura. We still don't know what that means. Ace Ventura, like a pet detective? I don't understand. So then by the time I got to her, I said, Mom, I'm gay. And she said, oh God, not another one. as if I caught some sort of old-timey Irish plague. She's like, "Oh, saints preserve us. Not another Fargate. Oh, no. Not another Fargate. I didn't think it'd get Maureen." And there's 5 kids in my family. There's 2 gays, and there's 3 boring ones. 2 gays and 3 others. And for a while, we were the favorites. My mom came around. She realized we're better. And the 2 gays were on top, and the 3 straights were on the bottom where they belong. And then that was ruined because my brother messed it up for the both of us. My brother went to my mom, and then he came out as a furry. It's okay if you don't know what that is. A furry is like a mascot for a team, but there is no team. And sometimes those furries have sex. They furk. And let it be known that I came up with the word furk. If I brought anything to humanity, it's furking. Yeah, my brother is a furry, and at this point, my mom's like, "Whatever happened to a good old-fashioned family secret?" He is. I have learned so much about furry culture. I know so much. My brother was a furry. You can be a furry without the fursona, without the costume. He didn't have the costume for 10 years. And the reason he didn't have it is because it cost $10,000 to get one of those made. Yeah, you think you have fucking problems. My brother was in Wisconsin as a human when he wanted to be a dragon. And then he got his fursona. It is a dragon named Sin, S-Y-N. And so he got it, and he just got engaged. So his fiance is also a furry. He is a fox, okay? I just want you to picture this in your head. So they got engaged in the middle of the day at noon at a park in Madison, Wisconsin. Yeah, okay. And I asked my brother, I was like, "Did anybody see this happen? Did anybody see this go down?" He's like, "Oh yeah." He said, "One lady came up to us and she said, 'You're gonna be in my nightmares tonight.'" I like being a lesbo though, that's pretty cool. Love being a lesbian. You couldn't have told me in high school that we were gonna be cool. I could have never seen that coming. Did not think lesbians would ever be cool. Now it's like the cool thing to do. Lesbians right now, they're young, they're hot, and they're confident. And I am not okay with that. It's too much. There's too much confidence. I want to be a vintage lesbian. I always have wanted to be a vintage lesbian. I love, do you remember your PE teachers growing up? This is exactly who I'm talking about. That's who I want to be. I want to be a coach. I want to be Coach Linda and Coach Susan. I call them huddle up lesbians. Like, huddle up! Huddle up! They're always telling a group of people to huddle up. Huddle up! Visors back, huddle up! I want to be like the Jeff Foxworthy of huddle up lesbians. I want to be like, let's see if I can think of one on the spot. I want to be like, you don't, you think a Trader Joe's bag is a formal purse. If you think, yes, here we go. If you think a Trader Joe's bag is a formal purse, you might be a huddle up lesbian. Okay. Yeah. I think I can make it work. I hope he sues me. This is a beautiful venue, right? Have you guys ever been here? Let's go around one by one. It's so beautiful. I love performing in a space that has a system and like a stage and a water set for me in case I get parched from all the moving around I do. You guys saw me do that. I went all the way over here. It's pretty big. I love when it's a real theater because I've performed in bowling alleys, on the train, on the subway. Yeah, why not have a comedy show there? I performed a few weeks ago at a show called Farts in LA, so that was huge for me. The only gig that I've ever said no to is a lesbian cruise. They asked me to do it, and I was like, that thing's sinking. I know it. Sorry, it's sinking with you on it. Like, it's sinking. I'm so afraid of that sort of thing. And also, like, I know it's going to sink because granola by the ton is very heavy, and that's what we like. I love lesbians. I am lesbian, of course. Like, I love lesbians. They are my chosen family. But just like my real family, I've chosen to never go on vacation with them. Because they are too competitive. 3,000 lesbians on a cruise, it's too many, because you know that thing is going to be sinking, and like all these huddle up lesbians are going to be going by with the lifeboat just putting on like the adopted pets before they put on any humans. It's going to be like a really fucked up Titanic. It's going to be like, femme lesbians and corgis first.